All right, here we go. Showtime.
We don't run from the truth. We don't fake the healing. We heal it. It's a revolution now, and you're invited. Heal that shit, don't hold it in. Rip the Band-Aid, let it begin. Truth gets loud when you stop the lie. We cry, we rise and testify. Heal that shit, don't hold it in. Heal that shit, don't hold it in. Rip the Band-Aid, let it begin. Truth gets loud when you stop the lie. We cry, we rise and testify. Life unfiltered, scars and all. Break that cycle, tear down the wall. Accountable, raw, and full of light. We healing out loud and we doing it right. Heal that shit, don't hold it in.
Hey y'all, what's up? Welcome to Life Unfiltered, Heal That Shit, where we are taking everything that we have learned over the past years and amplifying it for a new year of transformation. This is a revolution in healing. This is no longer just a podcast, all right? So whether you are here as a longtime listener or this is your very first time hanging out with us, get ready for some life-changing conversations.
Yes, indeed, because we've learned something powerful over the past year. When we share our truth, we give others permission to do the same. We have created this space for the truth seekers, the change agents, and anyone ready to do the work. Because let's be honest, real change happens when we stop hiding and we start healing.
So whether you are here to work through your own journey or you're here to learn from ours, either way, you are in the right place because we're about to get real, get deep, and most importantly, get some results.
So buckle up, strap in, grab your favorite drink, and let's heal this shit together.
So what's up, y'all? My name is Kimberland Jackson. I am an educational advocate, activist, and consultant, a scientist, a biologist, to be specific, a visionary and motivational speaker, virtual producer, and network executive. I'm also the founder of Intuitive Melanated Life Coaching, where I help people deepen their personal relationship with God to understand their unique design and purpose in order to positively impact the world. I'm also a professional frolicker, currently living in Medellin, Colombia, and I'm one of your hosts here on this good podcast. What up?
Hey, okay. Yes, indeed. Well, my name is Bianca Goolsby, and I am a digital strategist. I am a consultant. I am an education activist, and I'm also a certified snitch.
Snitch.
Yes, indeed. I am an investigator and a receipt collector, so please make sure that you are intentional when you mention my name or when you speak about me, okay? I am the founder of Teaching for the Culture, where we transform, we empower, we advocate, we coach, and we heal. I'm also an intuitive melanated life coach and a digital nomad currently traveling and working wherever there's Wi-Fi. Currently, my feet are planted in Santa Marta, Colombia. And my purpose is to empower others to find their own freedom and fulfillment.
Get it.
Okay, so in this space here, we are governed by 3 keys. That is accountability, transparency, and integrity. You're going to see that come full circle in today's episode. Watch. Community agreements. Let me tell you, we want to make sure that we're very clear about expectations, what you can expect from us, and what we expect from you. What you can expect from us is to operate out the 3 keys. We are going to keep it real. We're going to speak freely, and we're going to cuss if and when we feel like it. The reason why I'm sharing this with you is because if you have little listeners that are around, you might want to have some AirPods, some headphones, maybe not, that's your business, but we are going to speak freely in this space and what we expect from you. Hate speech, hate comments, not over here. We proudly serve in the Block and Be Blessed ministry. Amen. And we want you to engage with intention or be escorted to the block pew. Your choice, but we want you to go on this journey with us. We're not the experts in all things, and the things that we are experts in, please listen, because we are in our bag when we talk about our gifts. But we are
Yeah.
facilitating these conversations, and we want you to participate and bring people with you, because together we are committed to doing the work to heal. All right.
Yeah.
So the updates, talk to us. What's up? What you got, girl?
So, first, I want to remind us or tell us that we have emojis. So, here in this virtual world, the way that we communicate and show up for each other and the way that we identify where we know folks is through emojis. So, our collective emoji is the heart with a bandage wrapped around it. That is our official symbol here in the Heal That Shit community. That is how we know that you have been rocking with us and that you are a part of this world over here. So, you can feel free to attach that emoji to any other emojis that might suit your fancy. All right. Then we also have individual emojis. So my emojis are the sunflower and the crayon. The sunflower because my favorite color is yellow. It reminds me of the sun and brings me joy. Sunflowers also, when they cannot find the sun, they look to each other. And that is something that I deeply resonate with. Sunflowers are also the symbol for invisible disabilities. And as someone who is neurodivergent and finding out what that means more and more every day, I am becoming a fierce advocate for those of us who may live with conditions that are not able to be seen on the surface. And the crayon is my other emoji because there was a time in my life where everything was very black and white, and I made a conscious decision to color the fuck out of my life. Insert said crayon. So the crayon represents all the joy and the boldness and the color of the world. So those are mine, and please tell them about yours.
Oh, well, let me get information. Okay, y'all. So y'all see me in my teddy bear snuggie. In fact, we're actually going to take a field trip so that we could actually go to my bear cave. Okay. So here we are. We are here. And I am very grateful that I have these two emojis. The teddy bear, as you can see, I'm adorable, okay? A teddy bear gives love and receives love, and Imma tell you, boy, I'm receiving and giving, and I am loving it, okay? Also, the teddy bear is just to be very careful, okay? You gotta be careful with bears as they're cute and cuddly, also danger, okay? So be mindful with the way that you interact with bears because they can do some pretty interesting things depending on how you engage with the bear. So the bear emoji is that to represent the love and also be mindful when you're around it. The hands that form the heart, I tell you what, I'm just grateful to God that I am here. Right before the recording of the show, my friend asked me like, how was I feeling? And I said I couldn't really comprehend and like really put the words. So I can't wait to do that in this episode and really try to articulate that. But the hands that form the heart is everything to me. As someone who is a survivor of heart failure, who has a pacemaker, who continues to remind people to go at their own pace because it's only one you. And when my life is powered by a battery, I see things a bit differently. So I'm just here to use my testimony to help y'all as y'all are navigating out here, to help us as we're out here in these streets. Protect your health. Protect your peace, protect your heart, protect you because life is going to continue to life and people are going to continue to people, regardless if you like it or not. So those are my emojis, the teddy bear and the hands that form the heart.
Yes, we need those reminders for sure. So thank you for that. I want to remind us before we get into the things that we are on YouTube as well as on all podcast platforms. So if you are watching us here on YouTube and you're saying to yourself, I would like to be able to take this on the road and listen in audio format, we are on all the places that podcasts are casted. So Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you get podcasts at, that's where we at. And if you're listening to us on the podcast platforms, please do come over to hang out with us on YouTube. You can search for Heal That Shit and you'll find
Come
us
on
or put
over,
in
come on over, baby.
or put in the full title Life Unfiltered Heal That Shit. But then you'll be able to see Bianca's teddy bear uniform and her helmet and all the things, the bear cave, to get the visuals as we're talking about the things. So please do come on over and hang with us. And then I do want to also mention our website, which is wehealthatshit.com. Over on the website, you are able to learn a little bit more about us and what we are building. You have access to our book list and resources and all sorts of things over there. So if you go to wehealthatshit.com, you will be able to find it there. Okay. So we are going to go ahead and transition into our spirit check, which is the part of the episode where we really just take a moment to search our spirits and see what we got going on up in here. Now, we've been away for a little while. It's been a lot that's been popping out here in these streets. So we are catching y'all up. We're also catching ourselves up. As you even heard Bianca say a moment ago, I don't even know how I'm feeling. So this is like right now information that we're processing right now in this moment. We invite you to do the same. So if you're here with us during the live premiere, feel free to share in the chat. Feel free to respond to the poll. If you're watching during the replay or listening to the podcast, feel free to tell us in the comments how your spirit is feeling so that we are, able to hold space for each other. The whole point of this is to acknowledge, not to judge. So we approach all of this with curiosity and not judgment. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so that we can see how we do this here spirit check, and we will model this for you, and then you'll know how to participate. So our spirit check consists of 4 colors that are here on the screen. Green represents I'm absolutely wonderful. Life is great. Blue, I'm good. I don't have any complaints. Purple, I'm okay. Things could be better. And yellow, I'm not doing so well. I need support. So there are lots of different ways that you can answer this. Again, you can answer with the poll. You can use different configurations and things. So we are going to model that for you right now. So you are first up in sharing for the spirit check. So how are you quantifying and contextualizing how your spirit is feeling today?
So as you were reading um the colors and the explanation of the colors, my mind started to wonder. And the first thing that came to mind was a slinky, like the actual slinky, and just kind of the waves and the ebbs and flows with it. And I was like, okay, so slinky comes to mind as it relates to the dynamics of how the colors move. But like, what color slinky would I like put this in there? I would say that I am a sparkly, bedazzled purple slinky, and there are parts of green in the slinky to where it's green, it's vibrant. There's some blue in there, and there's even yellow that's like the illusion to gold, but it's not gold, it's yellow, you know? Um the the colors are very, very bold. The way that it's separated though is what got me really intrigued. Visually, I see that the colorway of the slinky, it's in a diagonal shape. And there's very bold diagonal lines that changes the color of the slinky, if that makes sense. So that's what I visually see as far as like the words and like how to put that to where someone could understand. Is the best thing that I could do right now is to be present and to just be and to name what is and not to overcomplicate the process. And so I want to honor that and where I'm at, because I don't necessarily know where I'm at and how I feel, because there's a lot of different things that are pulling at me, and we'll talk about that in our discovery, our transparency moments. But I do feel like the slinky is heavy though. I do feel like it's one of those very thick weighted slinkies, not like just a thin slinky. Like it got some weight to it, it got some depth to it. It's long. And the colors again are just very bold diagonal lines, very clear cut of how it shapes. But it's a lot.
Interesting. I definitely can see the visual, and it's even interesting when you were talking about the weight of the slinky because they do be weighing different. And so one that has some heft to it is very different than the ones that are real light and don't really have a lot of weight. Interesting. I have been kind of going back and forth over here of how do I even describe. So I started out kind of thinking about a lava lamp, and then I was like, I don't know. And then I'm like, a slinky, I don't know. And so I think I kind of landed at like a pool, if you will. Um, and the water is very, very purple. Like, I'm okay. Things could be better. Very, very much purple. But there are also, like, anytime that something is dropped into the water and there's a ripple, those ripples can be yellow. I'm not doing so well. I need support. And then there might be like little hints of blue. I'm good. I don't have any complaints that are kind of like around the perimeter or like the outline, but like this the water is very much purple and with these yellow waves that are happening, and then it's kind of like the tips is the blue. And even when I say wave, it almost feels like it almost feels like it's traveling, like, you know how in a wave pool, you can see, like, the waves coming towards you? It kinda feels like that, like the waves are, like, traveling towards me. Um and so, yeah, I think I'm a that's the best that I can do with what that sounds like. I relate similarly to you of not necessarily having the words to be able to contextualize things, but that feels like the best imagery that I can give. So, having said that, we invite you all to also share what things are like. You may or may not have the words, but kind of giving a visual to it and putting the colors that align with where you feel like you are right now. Be as creative as you need to with explaining that. So I guess we'll go ahead and move into our transparency moment. And I'm up first. And I want to start, I guess, with maybe a reminder. So, a reminder of where I kind of started the year, then kind of like giving an update. So, when we started the year, we chose pillars of wellness that we wanted to focus on for the year. Mine were spiritual, psychological, and environmental. And these have definitely proved to be at the forefront of the things that I've been thinking about and everything that I have been focused on for this year. The spiritual specifically in not just building a deeper relationship with God, which is what I feel like the consistent goal is, but it's also been in understanding more about my gifts and not being afraid of my gifts. I'll say it that way. So, in my mind, I really do feel like I have the potential and capability to be Matilda. And that is both exciting and also people should be nervous because me operating in my full potential is a very powerful thing. And sometimes I do not do that. And it's not necessarily that I'm like trying to mute myself or anything like that. I think I just be trying to keep myself in a space where I am not giving people what they deserve. So, I've been having, so, you may or may not know, I'm in the middle of Discover Your Destiny right now, and we're actually wrapping up. So next week is the final week for the spring cohort of Discover Your Destiny. And every time that I facilitate a Discover Your Destiny, I'm also going through Discover Your Destiny every time and like asking myself what that looks like for me, and like how do I apply these different learnings and things to myself as we're in this situation. And so this past week, the topic was boundaries, and thinking about boundaries in the idea of who is across the street, who's on the same side of the street, who's in the yard, who's on the porch, who's in the living room, and who's in the bedroom. And so I've been doing a lot of navigating, if you will. You can think about it with pieces or whatever represents people, places, and things, and like really moving things in and out, and really just assessing, where people are and what that looks like and what that sounds like. Because I've kind of come to the understanding that I have been giving people energy that don't deserve energy. And I have been ignoring things that do deserve energy. And what does that look like to address situations, people, places, and things with the energy that it really deserves? Because sometimes it's just like you're canceled and you're dead to me, and I don't really, you're dead to me. Like you're not, I don't even acknowledge, that the people are there. But then there are other times where it's like, okay, I actually do value this relationship. So let me see how I can give it the energy that it deserves. And then other times it's like, so you keep playing with me, and now I'm about to have to really be me. And I've been trying not to do that. And also, this microphone finna come on, and I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say, and it's gonna be said. It is just gonna be that, and you're gonna have to deal with it, type of thing. So I feel like I've been balancing that because my students, back when I used to be in the classroom, I used to tell my students all the time, like, there's a certain place where I just tap out and black out, and I don't be responsible for my actions at that point. So it's like, don't get me there, because if you get me there, then I told you what was going to happen if we get to this point, and here we are, type of thing. And so I feel like I've been trying to like keep myself in this level, like grounded space, and protecting my peace and like all of that. But in the same token, it's some folk need to be broken down and clear so that it can forever and consistently be broke, and we ain't got to have this conversation no more. So I feel like I'm kind of in a space of balancing all of that, but wanting to ensure that I'm doing it in a way that honors myself, honors my spirit, honors where I'm going right now in life and what I'm building. So I know that was probably might have felt like a big old word salad, but that is what it's been looking like on the spiritual tip, because I know and am growing to understand more and more every day the value of my place in people's lives. And I'm not like, how some people like just be like frivolous in your life, and they kind of just like come in and come out and whatever. And it's whatever. Like you ain't really got no real relationship. It's just real surface. I'm not that person. I'm not that person. And when somebody is a part of my life, and when I'm a part of somebody's life, I am very, very intentional and invested in that relationship. And I have to ensure that the relationships that I also have in return are also as invested in me as I am in them, because I do have a tendency, especially with the history of trauma, of overextending myself towards people, because I learned growing up that if you want love, you got to try harder, like kind of thing. And I'm actively breaking that, because that is not really how that works. So really just doing a lot of audits and ensuring that my energy is placed in the right space. And that also I'm putting respect on my own name for how I show up in relationships. And if people don't have the willingness, capacity, availability, insert word here to be able to show up, then they need to be in the appropriate category because I should not be giving it should the scale shouldn't be so unbalanced, right? Now, granted, there are times where we're going through shit and you need like you don't have the 50 or the whatever to give, which I don't believe in 50-50, it's 100, but you don't have the 100 to be able to invest in the relationship. That's one thing, but then it's something different if there's been a pattern of non-investment. Why are we here? What are we doing? Like this is misaligned. And so I've been doing a lot of that. And that's been interesting. And then really just um calling forth the manifestations of the things that I need to have happen and the things that God has promised me will happen. So not like being afraid, if you will, to even call God on the things. Hey, nah, you done told me to do this and you done told me to do it. What you doing at this point? Like, I ain't got nothing else to give. Like, what more do you want from me type of thing? So even being very bold in how I'm talking to God, like, I need you to take care of this. I need you to align whatever needs to be aligned. I need you to find the people. I need you to do what you do. I am here. I'm willing. I'm available. The microphone is on. The camera is on. I'm making the newsletter. I'm doing the thing. And now I need you to go find the people because I don't know where they are. I don't know where they are. So but I'm here and I'm available and I'm ready. So it's been a lot of that and a lot of those conversations and sitting with the spirit of expectation about what that is going to look like. I am hosting a new cohort of Discover Your Destiny for the summer. And I am really anticipating what that will look like because I know that there are other people who are actively saying to themselves, I need to show up different, or I need to understand more about myself, or I need to understand more about my gifts. And I want to make sure that I'm in position for that to happen. So for me to give everything to that, that also means all this other frivolous foolishness that's out here going on. We got to cut that off, put that in place. So I'm able to show up fully within the spaces that I'm really called to show up to. I had shared on Sunday that so you don't put syrup on your grilled cheese, that it feels like I'm crawling, like I'm in a marathon and I'm crawling the last 0.2, because marathon is 26.2 miles. It's like I'm crawling in that last 0.2 with Charlie horses and need to have water, don't have no more orange slices. Like I am just trying to make it. I can see the finish line, but I am not yet there. And I am just like inching towards it, but also knowing that it's right there. So how can I get there, or who can come along to help me to get there so that we can cross that finish line together? So it's been a lot of that, and it's a big faith walk, which is why I also bring up like the spiritual thing. Like, and I know that for every level there's new devils and all that kind of stuff, but like every time there is another part of me or another piece of me that I need to access to be able to be successful in this phase of life. So I've been doing that, but then also my brain and my brain people are really on like low power mode right now. I do not have any more medicine. So it's like my brain is doing the best that it can in this moment and trying to conserve as much energy as possible so that I can show up in the spaces that I need to show up in and that I want to show up in. So that's interesting because over the past, I think 2 months or so, I've had my medicine, like my brain was like, woo, shit, all right, let's get the things going, right? So I went hard, as hard as I could during these 2 months. And now it's like, I'm running out of battery. and trusting that the systems that I was able to put in place over the past 2 months are going to be able to help carry me until I'm able to get my brain back to a space of functionality. So it kind of feels like the gears are they're turning, but it's not smooth. It's time for oil change. It's time for the fuel injector to get cleaned. Like it's time for the gunk, if you will, to kind of get cleared. But that can't necessarily happen until I get over this hump. So that was a whole lot of analogies, in their cars and marathons and all that. So I'm trying to, help the people to understand all the different ways, but that's what it feels like. So my brain people are not getting into the office as quickly. It's taking some extra time to be able to get to the office and get to the desk, and we walking a little slower, and then we might have to explain things a few more times because we blacked out or zoned out the first time. So I'm really just kind of in a space of trying to give myself as much grace as possible during this time, but then also to be as communicative as I can so that the people who um are able to support and able to understand the type of support that I need. I really feel like when we are in a space of um trying to figure out what support looks like and trying to figure out what our role is in that, we do have a responsibility to make it as clear as we possibly can. And then I think the responsibility is like for the people receiving that to then hear that and be like, okay, so I heard you say this, so I can help with that. Let me help with that part. Or I know somebody who could help with this part, so let me help with that part. But then the other side of that is my brain able to focus enough to be able to then further explain, or to be able to be in the space where it's like, all right, I'm here, like I'm ready to help, but do I have enough to even be able to coordinate what that help looks like? So I'm definitely in very, very much need of a time to not have to be the one coordinating and like have to be the one to doing all the things. I really need to be in a space of there's a system, follow the system and just follow the system type of thing. As opposed to let's carve out a system. Let's do the inner workings and things. My brain is just not able to do that right now. So I've been trying to give myself as much grace as I possibly can muster for that, and setting myself up for success. My routines are kind of on life support right now. So what parts can I hold on to that will help me to remain as grounded as I possibly can until whoever comes or whatever shakes that needs to shake in order for me to have a moment to breathe for a moment. I do feel like it's coming. I can see it. Also, it's not here yet. This the last analogy that I'm gonna use just to try to make it a little bit more clearer. You ever played the hot cold game where it's like you're blindfolded and you're looking for something and somebody's like warmer, colder, like you're really hot. So I feel like that's where I'm at too, is like I'm in the room, I'm blindfolded, and everybody's like, you hot, you burning up. And I'm like, where is it though? Like, but where? And they're like, ooh, right, you so close, but not there yet. So, so that's been interesting to navigate and to really like wrap my mind around, and also not wrap my mind around so that my mind is able to rest, and give myself space to just be. I really do feel like I need to be able to just paint. I need to be able to tend to the plants. I need to be able to kind of just be. And so I am crawling towards that, like the ability to just be for a moment so I don't have to do so much coordinations and navigations and all of that. Um, so yeah, that was a lot of words. I hope that made sense. I don't know what did and what didn't.
Well, it definitely sparked some follow-up questions that I have. So,
Mhm.
as it relates to you navigating, um, and having people hold space for you and trying to determine where do people hold space. Is there a system that you use, or are you just following your intuition as you're, like, assessing where people live? Is there, like, a formula, or, like, I reach out to this person
You're
so
talking
many
about like
times,
with the different boundaries or how where people are being placed in that?
where
Is that what
people
you
are
mean?
being placed. Yes.
Is there a system? Somewhat. It's not necessarily a fully developed system, which is something that we talk about. Like, what are the things that people need to do, show, say, what have you, in order to have particular accesses? I'll definitely say a system, if you will, are DTRs, and that's something that I got from Bianca, which stands for Define the Relationship. So I definitely have been having those conversations, like what does that look like and sound like, and clearing up misconceptions. Because a lot of times what happens when we're not able to fully communicate what's going on is that narratives develop, and those narratives may or may not be accurate to what is actually going on. So having the conversations, and even I was thinking to myself the other day, I was like, I'm grateful that I am not afraid of conversations or even confrontation. Like, that's not something that is scary to me. So I am very willing to like have the conversations, um to be able to determine where people are. So that's one of the things, is that if it's somebody that I value and it's someone that I desire to be a part of my life and desire to be a part of theirs, is like, hey, so let's talk about what's happening, and like let me share what's going on with me, what's going on with you, find out where the truth is and all of that, and then being able to develop a plan to show up and support. So that's some of what it looks like. Others of it is like, we done had this conversation so many times. I'm not doing this no more. I'm not doing this no more. Like, I've talked about this. I've asked, I've said, because I also don't want to feel like I'm dragging people, or, like pulling people, dragging people, pushing people. I don't want to feel none of that. I want to feel like everybody that is around me is walking on their own 2 feet as well, and like doing the work as well. Not that I'm like, hey, I would like to be a part of your life, and I would like you to be a part of mine, but now I gotta like also do the coordination to figure out what that looks like. Like, I don't have the coordination right now. Like, I just don't have it in me to be the one to direct, well, we should do this and we should do that and we should do, like, I just don't really have that. Um, but the cutoff or the system, or how I determine who gets to have those type of conversations, is really based on how people are showing up. So if the other person is also showing up like, yes, I would like to figure this out, then we can figure this out. Like, I think everything is figure outable if the parties involved are willing to be able to figure it out. What I'm not about to do though is try to figure out stuff with people who are not also wanting to figure it out. So that's when it's like, God bless you. And I'll catch you on the go round, or I won't. Like, your subscription just got canceled. So there have been several folks that have been on the canceled subscription list. Some of them got noticed and some of them did not. Some of them was just like, I'm not about to have this conversation with you again, because I've already said this is what I need, or this is how this feels, or this is how I'm perceiving this particular thing. And we back in the same, like nothing has changed. I'm not, it can't be more important to me than it is to you. It's got to be important to both of us. So that definitely has happened. And I think a way that I determine is, how am I feeling like I'm the one that's doing the pushing and the pulling and the things, as opposed to both of us are showing up and saying, child, let's figure this out and let's figure out what's going on, and also giving grace for the other person. Like I had messaged somebody, this has been a few weeks now, and I was like, hey, so you had said to me that, like, hey, I want us to be closer, like I want to be in your life in this way, whatever else. And then you disappeared, and I haven't heard anything from you for months now. So I, am I welcome to know what's going on in your life, or not, right? And their response was, oh, I'm sorry, I just have a lot going on right now, so I'm not really on WhatsApp. Or but also, okay, so is it better for me to text you? So then I text them, and it's like, you're not responding to that either, so you just have a lot going on right now, and you don't have space for me in your life right now. And like accepting that and releasing that has been what that has been looking like. Like, got it. Because otherwise, it makes me feel like I'm a burden. It makes me feel like I am, like, I'm too much. And like I'm asking, I hate to like be like bare minimum things, but also like I'm asking for you to communicate with me and let me know what's going on, and you're not choosing to do that. So all I can chalk that up to is you don't have time, willingness, capacity, availability. Insert word here. It don't really even matter what the word is. The fact of the matter is, it's not happening, and I can't be the one constantly being like, so we gonna be a part of each other's lives or not? Like I'm not doing that. So in those cases, when it makes me feel that way, that's something I need to release that relationship. God bless you. I don't wish you harm, but also I can't keep putting myself in a position where I am begging, to be a part of your world, and it's clear you don't want me to be a part of your world, or you don't have space for me to be a part of your world. Then there's a difference between also somebody being a part of my world and then them allowing me to be a part of theirs. So that's another conversation that I had recently is I'm giving you invitations into my world, but you're not giving me invitations into yours. Apparently, you don't want me there. So let's just let that be what it is, right? Because I'm looking for how do I call it, mutually receptive relationships, where both of us are willing and wanting to do the work of showing up for each other.
I love
So if I'm
reciprocity.
constantly, yeah, if I'm constantly like, hey, I'm doing this, or hey, I would love for you to be a part of this, or hey, would you come to this, or hey, I'm over here, and you not extending that back, I have to accept that as you don't actually want me in your world, or there's not space in your world. No problem. And just release that. So that's my best answer for the system. It really goes into how it's making me feel. And if it's making me feel like I'm having to overextend or I'm having to carry it all, then okay, I can't do that. So this is gonna go head on to the wayside. And that also doesn't mean that there's no opportunity to be able to revisit, not necessarily. Like it may just be a temporary time thing or whatever. But also my life is continually moving. And because of where I am in space and time, even with asylum and like all of that and security measures and all of that, the circle is closing. So, like, even I'll say this, one of these phone numbers that I have is about to go offline very soon. And that's the way a lot of people keep up with me and all of that, but that's about to go away. And so when that goes away, then now that's levels of access that's lost. So you'll have to go to social media. Like, I don't know what else to tell you because I have to do that for my safety. And I have to make sure that only the people that need to have access to me have access to me. I can't I can't continue overextending. I'll give you one more example, then I'll be quieter if you have any more questions. So I was talking to somebody the other day and I was telling them, they asked me what I needed, and I said I would like for you to join the Patreon. Now, this is somebody that I have poured into. I'm talking a lot, right? And created space, and you got a calendar invite. Like, there's space here for you to be a part of my life. And I said, I really would like for you to join the Patreon. That would be the biggest help for me, because that will, and it, for context, for those of you who are listening, the Patreon is $5 a month. Okay. I know that you have $5 a month. I know you do. Right. So it's not a matter of them not having access to $5 a month. But what they said to me was, okay, but what is that $5 going to? And my first response was, well, is going to support me and all this work that I'm doing that also includes you as a part of that. So that's what it's going to. But also it's going to maintain the systems that are in place for this universe to be able to operate, which again you are a part of, right? And it's also going to making sure that I can get my medicine and that I can eat. And it just kind of made me feel like, how much are you questioning the other $5 that you spend, that you've said to yourself, I'm not finna give you $5 a month. That there has to be like a lot more there for you. Mind you, there's somebody who has my calendar invite. And for context, to get on my calendar and without people who don't have my calendar link and have access, that's going to be at least $75 for you to like have a conversation and use my brain cells and all that. I've been given this for free to this person. So for you to then turn around and be like, I don't know if I could give you $5 a month. No problem. Let me go ahead on and revoke your access. No problem. Because next time that you want to talk to me, it's going to be $75. No problem. No problem. But it's also kind of like, wow, I see where I stand and how valuable everything, like, you're willing to extract, but you're not willing to put in. You're not willing to contribute. You're not willing to actually be a part of this ecosystem when I'm literally sitting here carving out space for you too. And you can't see that. Okay, no problem. So yeah, I don't know if that answered your question, but that's what came
It
out
did.
when you asked.
It did. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if you have other questions. But I'll say this before you ask any. My brain is very much in mode. So it's like things might not be connecting and things might not be making sense. And I'm doing the best that I can. And I'm doing the best that I can. So yeah.
I just appreciate you, and just even like your vulnerability of just sharing like the different dynamics and different relationships and friend groups, because it is something that can change so much in somebody when relationships are different. And for transparency, me and Kim had to have one of those DTRs defining what our relationship is. How does our dynamic work on the podcast, outside of the podcast? Like, what dynamics do we want to show up, and how do we show up for each other better, or in ways that we may or may not have done before? And
Mhm.
I challenge those that are listening, that are watching, that you be very mindful of the people that are in your village and orbit. One of the catalysts to me writing the village audit was with my experience dealing with divorce and having to
Mhm.
navigate relationships that change due to the
Yeah.
dynamics changing with my relationship status, and who are people that are actually really in your corner, or who are people that are actually
Mhm.
surveillance, who are people that deplete from your battery, or who actually add to it. So I'm very grateful that even in that, like, as we've been able to navigate, and as you navigate with other people, like us being vulnerable and sharing that with people so that
Mhm.
they know the real, they know the truth, that no matter how long that you've been in partnership and relationship and
Right.
company with somebody, like those DTRs are very, very vital and very, very important for the stability and for the health of any type
Mhm.
of dynamic and relationship. And so I know that that is tough when you realize that you have people in your village that ain't actually really solid and for you.
Right.
And I've had to deal with a lot of grieving as it relates to me losing relationships with people and even little children that have nothing to do
Yeah.
with the conflict at hand, but just due
Right.
to you speaking up and you being who you are. There are some people that just ain't gonna fool with
Yeah.
it, or
Or
they try
even
to fake
choosing
your
to
funk.
save yourself. Like how you feel some type of way because I'm doing what I have to do to save myself. Like that's wild. That's really wild. And to your point of the kids that are involved, I had went down to the LinkedIn the other day. Right. I ain't been down to LinkedIn in 5 years. Okay. I went down to the LinkedIn and I said,
LinkedIn is
let
a
me get
wild
on,
place for context. If
baby.
y'all don't know, LinkedIn is wild. We'll have to do a deep dive on that later.
Oh my God, I was so exhausted, like in the first even 10 minutes, because it's so pretentious and it's just not real. It is
It's
so
the
like,
corporate
I'm
shenanigans.
in such and such, and I'm doing the blah, blah, blah. And look at me. I got the certification for the thing. I don't give a shit about none of that stuff. Right. So it was so interesting. But anyway, when I went down to LinkedIn, one of the people that I had to go ahead on and release connection with was someone that had fired me from being their child's godparent. And the firing happened because what? I had to save myself because I had to leave the country in order to heal to save myself. And they felt some type of way because I wasn't the babysitter. Okay. And to your point, the depth of the grief that comes with that, where this is not this baby's fault. And this is a child that I said I am, willing to commit to and to honor and to love and to protect and, be in relationship with and all of that. And then you decided to end that because you felt some type of way because you wanted to use me. But you didn't care if I was okay. You didn't care if I was healthy. You didn't care if my brain was okay. You didn't care about any of that. What you cared about was how you could use me. And so because you couldn't use me, now this baby doesn't get the opportunity to have a relationship with me that would have been beneficial. Like it's just real, it's a lot. And so when I went down there to the LinkedIn, because it's been 5 years, and I was going down, oh, you got the go. You somebody that got the go. You got that. God bless you. I wish you the best. And also, you got the go. You don't get to continue to have access to me because I wasn't important enough to you for you to even care about my safety and well being. Sorry, I had cut you off. What else you was going to say? My bad. I felt that in my spirit.
No, I'm glad that you did because it's something serious that we all need to evaluate in this season or time where we're trying to figure out like how to live and how to be sustainable in our work and to be healthy and to be whole and to be healed. And then all while that's happening, you got people in close proximity that then you find out that don't necessarily have your best interest when the conversations are happening about public betrayal, and I'll get to that in my transparency moment, I tell you, I've been triggered all week long. I've been
Mm,
triggered from the things that I've been seeing online, the conversations where people have think pieces about people cheating, but was silent when people were murdered. I just have
mm,
so many
mm.
thoughts and feelings about people that are talking about the feelings of a Black woman and what Black women should or should not say on the internet. Meanwhile, we are one of the least protected groups of people. And
Girl.
it is so sad to see when people are just trying to be on the internet and then you have people that are writing all kinds of things. It might take some time for those consequences to catch up, but the internet never forgets. And
Mm-hmm.
just because you have a
Mm-hmm.
VPN doesn't shield you from a subpoena.
Mm,
It is just
mm.
so wild to see the things that are in front of us. And that's part of the reason why when you ask me how I'm doing, I don't know. I don't even know how I
Mhm.
should feel because there's people on the internet that don't look like me that's telling me how I should feel.
Mm. Well, let's go on and get into the things of what's been going on.
Where do we even start? Okay.
What the hell?
You start with that.
Oh my God, no way.
So I'm starting this new thing and we gonna do it together for the first time. So let me go ahead and put this on here, okay? And we're gonna talk about it. So I'm writing it out, and the word that I'm writing that I need people to understand and learn about is the word called receipt. Okay.
Not
And
you got a whiteboard. I got a whiteboard for Christmas too, but I got to give me a marker. We gonna be in here outlining the things. So the word of the day is receipts.
Okay.
Okay.
And sometimes you have the S at the end, meaning that you have more than one. Okay. But we're gonna talk about this here. Okay.
Okay.
So there's a quote that I say very often, very frequently, and I mean everything by it. Okay. It says, people lie, receipts don't. Okay. Also note for MSGA for make snitching great again. Okay. So I just want to make sure that we are all in alignment with what this thing says. We have a commander in chief that can't even be honest and integral on the internet, and is creating AI images with him in very interesting and compromising positions and situations that is just beyond me that we're having. Then I see that Florida is ranked 50th in the nation again for the third time in teacher pay. Meanwhile, saying all the things about how successful school choice is, and meanwhile, our educators are paid like shit, have been treated like shit. And there were new reports about the violence that has been taking place in our schools, and we need people to be held accountable for it. And everything that I'm talking about, y'all, got a receipt. See, the thing that I think people be missing out on is that they will take things and they will make it seem like they have a receipt, and they don't. They be lying. Let me give you an example. So I'm watching the news and seeing the things on the internet, and when the situation with Meg and Clay hit the internet, of course, people were buzzing, talking, and it was a whole woman that was accused of being the side piece, where people did not even fully apologize for all the things that they said about her, threw her name through the mud, and had nothing to do about the situation. But people were being an internet detective and putting things together that actually shouldn't have been together. And this is the problem that I have with the internet and the people that occupy the internet, when they go out and they make lies and they don't get the receipts. Okay.
Are you talking about the person they claim that Clay cheated with?
Yes.
So it wasn't her? It wasn't the basketball player lady?
It was not.
Wow.
It was not. She issued a statement and all.
Wow.
So I go to politics, and of course my brain is all scattered because I'm talking about politics from commander in chief to Meg Thee Stallion to the education crisis, and all, like, I'm all over the place. And that's exactly how I feel, because I don't actually I don't know what my next step should be in this, because it's so much going on, so much to say. Don't want to be in the space where I'm repeating myself. And then you got to be very careful with what you say, what you don't say, because you got somebody indicted because they posted a picture of seashells and the commander in chief thought it was a threat. And so now you got somebody that's now compromising in the situation because he posting a picture on a damn beach.
So let's give context. I do know what you're talking about there, that now they're trying to indict Comey, which they had already gone after him, James Comey. And I don't even remember what his position was.
Previous FBI.
Okay. So he was the previous Kash Patel. That makes that even more outlandish. But he had posted a picture of, like you said, some seashells or something, and now they're standing at the podium talking about they're about to indict him because that is a threat on the dummy that's in the White House. So, wow.
I don't know how to feel. Like, I received positive news that one of my podcasts is actually listed, and that is a great thing. Like, it's one thing to have a podcast. This is another thing where there's a list of, like, these are the best podcasts in this category,
Okay.
and I was able to receive that. So, ranked number 13 out of the
Wow.
30 for best POV podcast by Million Podcasts. So, shout out to them for
What's a
that and
POV podcast?
point of view.
But what does that mean? What makes a podcast a POV podcast?
So, when I do my podcast recordings, I'm recording my walk, whether I'm walking on the treadmill, walking in the streets of Peru. Like, I've been everywhere as it relates to where I've been. So the journey of me actually walking and talking and during the podcast. And what makes it unique is I intentionally created the design of the podcast to show people how easy it can be to create a podcast. I was not
Mhm.
using any specialized mics. I was not using any specialized equipment, very intentionally to be like, all you need is your phone and some earbuds to be able to do this with intention. Now,
Mhm.
there are some best practices and all of that, but I use the bare bones equipment
Mhm.
to produce the podcast. So it's again a testament of you don't need
Oh
$1,000
gosh.
worth of equipment. You don't need the whole production team and all of that. You can literally start small, be consistent, and show up. And again, for me to be listed when there's so many
Yeah.
podcasts out there, for them to reach out to me via email to say, hey, so you've been awarded this and we're proud of you. Continue podcasting. Here's the link to our website so you could see where we stand. It's
Mhm.
just I'm grateful to that. But then also I sat with that and I was like, well, damn.
Well, you need to take a
Thank
moment
you.
to acknowledge
Thank
that.
you.
Okay. All right. Go ahead. Uh-huh.
As I sat with that though, and I was like, but I haven't really been as vocal as I
Mm.
really
Mm.
desired though. I am thankful for being listed in this directory where they are listing regional and national podcasts, like very popular podcasts that are out there. That's not just like some random site that's out here. They've been in existence for
Mhm.
some time. They actually have credibility to themselves. And that's why I'm even talking about it. The fact that I was selected and chosen, I know that there's more to come with this. I know that even with the power walks and just the other forms of content that I'm going to create that is going to continue to create the impact, but I just had a moment where I just was frozen in it because it is so much going on. I haven't been as vocal as I would like to be, and while there's been reasons for it, at the end of the day, like, I gotta continue to operate with my strengths and in my path because it has been a lot going on. I was sick, so one of the reasons why we didn't have episodes is because I wasn't feeling well. And then in the midst of that, we moved. So, for those of you that don't know, so I shared at the top of the show that I am in Santa Marta, Colombia, and I love it here. It's great. We found a new apartment, we signed our lease, we moved in. Everything has been great. The fact that I'm able to be here in a snuggie and to do my episode means so much to me because in previous episodes I shared that we didn't have AC in certain spaces. So because of that, there was no snuggie. There was no no. I barely had clothes on.
Mhm.
So for me to be in AC, to be at an office desk, a office chair, and just having people to look out for you to be like, "Hey, so I'm moving. I got some things. Do y'all want
Mm.
them?" Yes, we
Mm.
do. The desk and the chair fits perfectly in the spot. We didn't know how we was going to make it work, but we knew that that was something that we needed, was like a nice quality desk and a nice quality chair that has, you know, the back, you know, placements. Like, when I
That's a
say there's
blessing.
so many things in this slinky that I could point to that are green, but then also being like, a year ago, I about crashed out on the internet looking at my Facebook memories.
Mm.
And then watching the video that I recorded, which is a power walk episode, as I was in the woods in Tallahassee walking the trail, feeling so defeated because of my financial outlook. And I look and reflect a year ago from that moment. Kimberland, I cried. I cried in that bathroom. It was just me in that bathroom in tears, just falling. Didn't want my tears to be public. I didn't want a whole thing to be made about it, or, you know, come give me a hug and then I'm crying more. I just needed to sit with myself in that. And while I'm not financially where I would want to be, I know that I'm not where I was a year ago, fighting that trademark dispute, having all of these different alerts and being afraid that somebody's gonna come get me because I ain't paid certain bill by a certain time. I've been released from a lot of those financial obstacles. And again, on this journey, been very transparent about me filing for bankruptcy, me taking on so much debt, and my relationship, fighting for intellectual property. It was a lot. I need a fresh start. And if anyone else can get it who's been in the White House, then so can I do feel like it is a
Period.
strategy that people can use, and I've learned about it, did my due diligence, and knowing that that's the best path for me, particularly because I'm not trying to acquire property or to obtain debt. I'm trying to be debt free. And now that student loans can be compiled in this, even though my loans should be technically forgiven. Oh, everything's being included in that thing now. Now that student loans can be added to it now, game on. Like, clear me, reset me, set me free. And that's what I have been waiting for. And that's what I look forward to. So when we started this journey in this podcast, you had shared your three pillars, and I want to share mine too because I've really been intentional about it. It was physical, financial, and emotional. Physical, again, working on my body, losing this weight, having heart failure, trying to get any weight that I don't need released from me. And that is just something that I've been constantly working on. Financial is me being set free from obligations that I don't need to be holding on to any longer, and wiping the slate clean and starting anew, and knowing that I'm not a failure because of the decisions that I made. I've learned lessons, and I will never get myself in that type of situation again based on my experience. And emotional, being able to say these things out loud because pride wouldn't let me. Pride wouldn't tell the people that I need help, or pride wouldn't tell the people that I'm dealing with financial hardship, particularly when I have a character and a presentation that it's not of that. And I don't know who assigned that to me, or who put this thing on me to where I have to not cuss and be polished, and I have to perform a certain way. I don't know who put that on me, but please remove it because I am going to be unapologetically me in this season. The word for 2016 is 2016. Jesus the
I
Lord.
was about to say, Lord, you got in your Wayback Machine, girl. I don't want to go
Yeah.
back there. Come
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah. My word for 2026, Jesus, because we don't need to go all the way back there, God. Although if we did go back there, I would change so many things knowing what I know now. But anyway, going back to 2026, a couple of months ago, my word is unleashed. And just like when my word was fearless the year prior, and having to hold myself accountable to, am I actually being fearless? And being like, bitch, no, you're not. Am I unleashed? No, I'm not. Why? Because there's so many Facebook statuses and things that I wanted to write where I deleted it, didn't post it, didn't say nothing. And that's unlike me. usually I have something to say, I'm gonna say it, and that's just gonna be that. But I have been writing statuses and deleting them and not posting them, and
Why you
I've
feel
just
like
had
you've been doing that?
because of fear.
Mm.
Just cut it at the root. Fear of, and it's not even like I'm afraid of somebody, right? Because it's like who gonna whoop me, but
Mhm.
I've in a lot of my life has always been built on the perception of what somebody perceives you to be or how they receive a certain message from you. I grew up in an environment where you know if you fail publicly, like people see that, like you don't want people to see that, and that's not realistic because in order for us to move forward, sometimes we do have to fail, and a lot of times it's failing publicly. And it goes back to one of the questions that I asked on this very same programming: what would you do differently if you wasn't fearful of failing publicly? And I go back to these questions and these things because I'm living it. It's because I'm trying to break free from that. It's because I don't want to care what someone thinks about me, but actually I do. I do deeply care what people think. So when there are conversations that are very polarizing, whether it's political or even my own life, where people are like, Bianca, now I know you said that you're transparent, but I think maybe you're sharing a little too much. And I don't necessarily know what too much is, particularly in the season where I'm going, because I hope you buckle up because I don't think I've been saying enough because it's election time. I need to make sure that the people ain't voting for people who don't need to be in office. That's what I've always done. Whether it was from school board, state house, Senate, Congress, it didn't matter. And I'm operating in that with MSGA, make snitching great again. So again, I go back to just uplift is in closing. Okay. That people lie, receipts don't. And I am really frustrated when people go on the internet and they don't have this, okay? They don't have the receipts and they pretend that they do, or they say things about themselves that's not true. And sometimes I'm just choosing to like not worry about that. Like letting people live in their own delusion, but when my name is attached to the delusion and when things are being said, depending on who the person is it's going to depend on how I respond. And I feel you when you were like, there's some things that I need to address and I need to add energy to because of the way that it's been happening. And I resonate with that deeply because I feel the same. I feel like there's some people that been feeling like they are able to say and do whatever and have no type of accountability for how they moving and how they operating. And just because time has passed, that doesn't necessarily mean that the hurt has gone away. It doesn't necessarily mean that the damage has been cured. It doesn't necessarily mean that I'm not going to talk about it either, because healed doesn't mean silent. I'm going back to the song. Okay. It's track 2 on my album, Grace and Receipts. Go listen to it. It is, again, birthed from trauma and the things that I've gone through to encourage you to surrender to God and let go, because ultimately God is going to be in control of the situation. And I know what he's going to do. He's going to take control because that's all he got to do. He got to. How you're bold with talking to God, I'm bold with talking to God too. Because you want me to move, I'm moving. Okay, work with me. Work with me too, God, because I need help.
I felt that. I felt that real deep. And especially as you're saying, people thinking that time has passed or that because nothing has been said, that gives them license to continue or excuse what's been done or what have you, and the not feeling like you haven't said enough. Like I feel that so deeply because and then also people being like, oh, you really be out here talking, and you thinking to yourself like, I haven't even said half the things that I need to say. I what I've been talking, but I ain't been talking like I'm about to start talking. Like I definitely I feel that deeply. So you had said at some point, I don't remember we were recording already or not, but you had said basically it sounded to me like you are getting ready to return and to begin talking about some things and all that. So what is that looking like? What thoughts have you put towards that?
So I just started planning that. There was a shift that happened with my work and the different type of clientele that I have. I want to definitely make sure that I am making my digital spaces as profitable as possible. And as I put that energy to others, I'm going all in and doing it for me now. So with that being said, I was like, okay, so starting the shows back, what does that look like? And so for me, I was like, okay, so historically I've done national news and then I would talk about local. And in the case, local for me was Hillsborough County, Pinellas County, Pinellas and Polk if it was something real juicy. But Hillsborough enough. It just was a lot going on to where I had content for days and still have content as it relates to things going on and people still reaching out to me, not as frequent as it was, but for the people that are still reaching out to me regarding issues and situations that they want accountability for. For example, I was telling you about Kids Community College in Riverview and how folks wanted some accountability as it relates to how educators are being paid. And I just said that we are 50th in the nation for teacher pay already. So, um, it has been a lot. So as far as like dates, I said that we start in May, which is literally in a couple hours. So I don't have a calendar necessarily put together, but what I did do, as I was working on another website for someone else, I was able to see how I could replicate what I did for them for myself. So on their website, they're a nonprofit and they have events, and I have event tickets that set up on their website where people can go and purchase a ticket, and they would get access to the event in this particular case for them to come and show up. I want to do it a little bit differently because I'm offering virtual experiences where I would have tickets that I would sell to virtual events. What I was thinking in the spin of this is talking about digital safety, literacy, education, running that through the ticket process. So maybe I set the ticket price to $3, $5, seven, something where it's a low entry, but you need to be invested in order to be here type situation. Provide the outlook, provide the overview, give a question and answer, and then slice and dice it, and then put the content side of it on YouTube and all the different players for people to have. And then the paid version is literally the question and answer. Sometimes people just want a professional to ask things so that they can have clarity on. And as it relates to what's happening digitally, we need more and more digital guardians out there because as we're seeing, children are being harmed, elderly are being harmed, adults are being harmed. There's a bunch of people that's being harmed in these internet spaces and are triggered by these internet spaces. And we need to be very intentional, whether it's just browsing on the internet or even interacting in spaces like social media. There are websites out there that can actually tell you the last address you've had, the list of addresses that you have been at, your phone number, just a bunch of things out there. And as someone who is currently dealing with identity theft, yeah, girl, got an email the other day that somebody applied for a loan and used my address in Jacksonville to apply for the loan. So I had to send them a certified letter. My mom ended up handling the PO box and all of that. So grateful for that. But had to send them a certified letter to being like, I didn't authorize this loan. I don't know who did this. I am telling you that I want all of my information removed, that I want to know your investigation status as it relates to this matter. And some people don't even know what to even put in those letters to even go back and forth with creditors, like going back and forth with collection agencies. Like that's a sport for me. So the long answer is I'm getting my shit together. I'm getting my shit together and getting information. And when I have a calendar of events, you'll be one of the first people that get access to that so that you know exactly what I'm doing, when I'm doing it, and the access points and how people can get access. But before I have any conversations with anything and anybody, it's going to be with my Patreon because I really appreciate my folks in Patreon that continue to contribute to me even when I was sick and I didn't have much to provide in the Patreon. I want to set it up to where it doesn't feel like my Patreon is just for me dropping receipts and me talking about people. Like I've been moving away from the I'm a person that just talks about people. I do want to continue investigative journalism, which does mean you call the people out and you say their names and all of that, but the way that I used to do it is not the way that I want to do it now. And I've been scaling and Mm. I will say that there has been the evolution. For those have seen my previous content to where I am now, I have evolved where you are thankful that God is working on me. Be grateful. There are certain individuals that should be praying to Jesus right now that I am saved, that I am redeemed, that I am renewed. Because the way that I want to rip some of them apart on the internet to where they don't have no standing and nothing. If you know what I'm capable of and what I used to do, I would have a. In fact, I'm gonna cut that out because I don't need people to know that. But what I do need people to know is don't play with us. Period. Full stop. Don't play with us. Okay. And I'm going to always continue to uplift that Tashana Brown, we still on you. It's not up yet. And I'm going to continue to ride it out until I can't ride it no more. And there is an ebook coming soon as it relates to this trademark process, this trademark disputes. And for anyone that wants to learn about the journey, come join and pull up to one of the classes because I'm going to show you, I'm going to tell you what you should, what you shouldn't do, and the pitfalls and the mistakes that I made so that you don't make it too. Because what I should have did was buy Teach for the Culture, and I wouldn't be fighting with GoDaddy about that domain right now as we speak.
I appreciate a few things of what you said. One is stop playing with you and me and us. Cut it out. It's not something that you really want to do. I also appreciate that you are finding your way back and getting your shit together, as you said, and creating opportunities for people to learn how to advocate for themselves as well, whether that be through the digital guardian and learning how to be responsible on the internet and helping other people to be responsible on the internet, or whether that is protecting your intellectual property, or but as you said, like, people are talking to creditors, like, there's so much that is there, and it can be so overwhelming when you don't know what to say, and it's already triggering because it's messing with your money and your things, like, so brains shut down. So being able to have a space to learn how to navigate that, or having templates to be able to support that, I think is really, really transformational and can really help a lot of folks. So I'm very, very excited to hear about that, and honored to have a space to see that get carved out. And even with your Patreon, as you're like, I'm gonna do things differently. Patreon, I got to shout my Patreon out too, because Patreon really be supporting, and so when we talk to the $5 a month, like, y'all might not feel like that's making a big difference, but it makes such a huge difference and a huge impact in the work that we're doing. And then being a part of that community, and every time that you like something, you share something, you leave a comment, like, all of that counts, and it really helps to be able to support us and to support the work that we do, and to support how we need to be showing up for each other collectively, and there's we all do it in a different way. So being able to do it through receipts and snitching and private investigations and investigatory journalism and all of that, that's one way to do it, right? Y'all might have and not might, y'all do have a way that you are also supposed to be doing this. So, what does that look like for all of us to operate in the space where we are gifted and operate in a space where we're passionate so that we are able to support each other in doing the work that needs to be done to work against these systems, because there's so much and it's so multi-layered of how these systems are in place to silence people, to run your cortisol up and your blood pressure up, and all the things where you're just not able to really advocate for yourself. So, being able to tap into a community where you can get the support to do that, I think is priceless. So yeah, shout out to the Patreon, and shout out to the people who are really, showing up and supporting it. I don't know if we make this look easy. I don't know, but it's not. I don't know if it looks like it's a walk in the park. It's not. Um, this is being an activist and being someone who is advocating for children and advocating for the marginalized. You mentioned children, you mentioned the elderly, you mentioned people who may have disabilities. Like, those are people that are often left behind, forgotten, and taken advantage of. So being in a line of work and purpose where that's who we are fighting for, please know that's not coming with people with rolling out the red carpet and people being like, "Oh, I'm so glad that you're doing this." Like, there's so much that goes on behind the scenes. So every single piece of support means a lot in this work. So I'm excited for what you're working on in this new direction that you're going to be taking. And I'm excited for what needs to be discussed, because I know it's a lot that I know. And then I also know it's a lot that I don't know that needs to be discussed. But we really, really have to empower ourselves with education. And if we're working together in order to dismantle these systems, it makes it that much more achievable. Yeah, it sounds like y'all need to buckle up and strap in and lock in. That's what I've been telling people. Lock in, twin. Like, you got to
Yes,
lock
indeed.
in. We got
Yes,
to lock
indeed.
in because it's a lot that's happening. It's happening quickly. So being able to really be in the spaces where the conversations are being had, that is the advantage that we need, and how we can support each other. So yeah, I feel that. I feel that deeply.
Yeah. And of course, there's like so much more, right? But like, this is where it's coming. So just buckle up and
Yeah.
strap in, because it's been a lot. We have these episodes so that y'all can come back and learn the different things that we're working on. So I will say, for accountability for me, this is where I'm asking for y'all to hold me accountable too, is by the next show that we have, I am going to have a calendar on my website where I'm gonna have different events and things that you're able to subscribe to, where you could join for free, or if it's an opportunity to where it's a paid opportunity that you're able to pay, get your seats to the different things that I am doing. And I'll have that by the next episode that we record. So that's something I'm saying, also to hold me accountable, because also I also know something about me that I'm learning to leverage a bit more, is with me wanting to make people happy. I also need to leverage that as it relates to commitments. And so if I make a commitment to someone, I am more likely to honor that commitment than a commitment to myself. And that is a
Mhm.
painful truth, where if I promise to deliver something for someone else, the fear of me disappointing them is more, it weighs more heavily than me disappointing myself. And that's because of the negative
Mhm.
self-talk and the things that I'm working through in therapy, which, whoo, therapy will change your life. You just got to go and don't lie to the
Amen.
people.
Amen. 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 And don't lie to the people, especially when you're sitting there paying the people to help you. That's silly. Okay. So y'all get ready, buckle up and and make sure that you following the pages, that you joined the spaces. So tell and that you got them receipts. Tell the people where they can access your Patreon and all the things and stuff so they'll know where to go.
Excellent. So you could find everything linked on my website. You can go to www.biancagoolsby.com. From my website, you'll be able to join my mailing list, you'll be able to join my Patreon, and to see the different internet spaces that I control and manage and do things on that you might actually enjoy and like and want to be a part of. So that's where you can find me at biancagoolsby.com. Where can the people
Cool.
find you?
I would like for y'all to come on over to patreon.com/minding my black ass business and be a part of the archive. That is basically where you can find me. I'm still on Instagram for the time being at Kimberland J, but the best place is to come over to the Patreon. And then if you are saying to yourself, I really need to know what my purpose is and what that looks like and sounds like, then if you go to dyd25.com and get into the summer cohort, it starts on May 31st. What if the thing you've always called too much was the exact thing God designed on purpose? This is for the ones who've always known they were different. Too sensitive, too loud, too knowing, too intuitive, too woo-woo. But what if your sensitivity is actually your superpower? What if your intuition was your inheritance? Discover Your Destiny is a 10-week sacred journey back to yourself. We explore the design of your soul, your spiritual gifts, and the unique way that God speaks to you. This isn't church. It's not a rule book. It's not a performance. It's the moment you stop chasing approval and start walking in divine alignment. You'll gain clarity, language, and confidence around who you are and what you are here on the earth to do. You'll learn the real voice of God. And if you feel called to go on to become a certified intuitive melanated life coach, this is where that path begins. There are 2 ways to enter this sacred container: the Destiny track, full investments and coaching experience, or the Divine Exchange track, where internship meets soul work. You'll support podcasting, content creation, or brand development behind the scenes while learning how your unique gifts benefit the collective. Your knowing isn't a flaw. It's the fingerprints of God. This is your invitation, and I hope that you'll answer. So there are discounts for those who are in the archives. You get it at a discounted rate if you are a part of the archive. If not, go to dyd25.com and fill out the intake form so we can go ahead and get you enrolled so we can get you in purpose. Okay. So that is where you'll be able to find me. And then we'll be back in 2 weeks, y'all. So that'll be May 16th is when we will be back for our next episode and we'll have some updates. So Bianca gave us some things that she wants us to help her to remain accountable on. I'm going to be working towards Discover Your Destiny. So that's definitely what I need to be held accountable on. And so you're watching the journey unfold, in real time. So strap in and lock in, twin. You feel me?
Yes, indeed. Oh, I will say, before we end, I did
Mm-hmm.
have an opportunity to travel back to some of our previous episodes of Heal That Shit. And it is
Okay.
so amazing to watch like the growth of our production quality as it relates
Mm-hmm.
to just the turnaround time of being able to get these things produced. Like, and
Mm.
then because we're doing it in a different way than what we've been accustomed to, where we record it for our folks that are in the inner circle and that are part of the archive and that are a part of the digital guardian equalizer space. And then to then have an opportunity for people to watch it, while we're watching it together on YouTube
Mm-hmm.
after it's edited and all of that. Like, it's a great system, And I think that there needs to be more conversations for those individuals that are looking to create a very similar system where they might have things that they're passionate about and things that they want to share, because it is a lot that people need to speak up and use their voice about. But there's also some people that need to do some healing work before they continue to use their voice, because we are
Absolutely.
also seeing people that are spreading their trauma on others, and that's a problem that needs to be addressed too. So, how are we able to show up our best selves? And one of the reasons why I wasn't as vocal outside of being sick, because I wasn't feeling myself. Like, I had to figure that out. And as I don't actually know where my feelings are, like, I don't know how this live is going to go. I don't. But what I do know is that I did make a promise to myself that I was going to test out the equipment, that I was going to at least say hi, that I was going to give some surface level updates so that people could follow along. And if they decide that they want to continue following along on the journey with the new direction that I'm going, great. And if
Mhm.
not,
Mhm.
cool too. But
Mhm.
it just is what it is, so
Yeah.
it's tough being in the advocacy spot, knowing that things are going to get better, because if you follow the money, then you see the profit in the problem. And if no one wants
Absolutely.
to address the problem, then it's like we're saying the same thing. So like last year, as I was playing the video back on my power walk, I was talking about the very same things that is
Mhm.
happening right now. They can't vote on the budget. Still is a thing. Another year later, still can't vote on the budget. Having a special session to talk about the budget that should have actually been done when they were actually constitutionally bound to be there.
Mhm.
Another
Mhm.
thing
Mhm.
that came up for me was, so I'm out here trying to accommodate these different systems for other people, and then like not having like my own system for me, and then trying to figuring out like how do I make things work for me though? Like I strategize to help systems for others, but what does it look like to like put me in the seat and like do it for me? So it's interesting to see it all kind of come together, but where I was a year ago to where I am now is much different. And seeing the Life Unfiltered episodes from previous just definitely reinforce that I'm so chill and calm in comparison to
You said it yourself. You was like, some people need to be very grateful they you have turned over a new leaf. That is a
I'm
true
so
statement.
chill and
That is a true
unbothered, but
statement.
child, some people need to be reminded. So this podcast is sponsored by Make Snitching Great Again. MSGA, baby. Enough is enough. And it is time for accountability, transparency, and integrity. It's time to snitch. Save 11% by using coupon code HEALTHATSHIT. Visit us online by visiting projectmsga.com.
So we'll be back in 2 weeks, y'all. And so make sure again that you have liked the page, that you subscribed, that you followed, that you've left a comment, even if that comment is to just leave the heart with the bandage wrapped around it. Like all of that again feeds into what we are doing here. So we deeply appreciate you and buckle up, y'all. It's some things on the horizon that we trying to pull you in closer to pay attention. So find the spaces, get over to the Patreons, do the things, all right, so that y'all are able to connect with us. And then we'll update y'all in 2 weeks. A lot happens in 2 weeks. So
Yes, indeed.
we'll see.
Well, all right then. Well, until next time.
Bye, y'all.
Heal that shit.